So what is going on, everybody? Um, yeah, I just decided to do this video real quick. I was just so like I just came across like this video on YouTube where like they was talking about so I came across this short a little short clip on YouTube where they were talking about the beef. Well, it's not really a beef. Um, they were talking about Joey Badass and Kendrick Lamar, where Joey Badass was basically explaining his whole thing with Kendrick, because you guys know last year, was it last year? I think it was last year, where he dropped that song, Crash Dummy. But actually, I bopped to that song. That song's fire, I ain't gonna lie. Fire song. But that song, obviously, we know is a diss towards. I ain't really much of a diss to Kendrick. It's a little bit. He got a little bit, a few jabs at Kendrick in that song, but it's mostly towards TDE artists. You know, TDE. Obviously, we all know Kendrick used to be on that label, TDE, and so like, but like Joey Badass was saying that he was not really dissing Kendrick. Like, I mean, he was, but like, he's not. He don't got no real beef with Kendrick. It's just for the sport of hip hop, you know. Now, I want to talk about this though because a lot of rappers nowadays do this, where they talk, where they diss people on songs and they say that it's part of the sport of hip hop. Now, there's nothing really inherently wrong with that, but the problem that I got though is like, I mean, if you're gonna like, if you're just trying to be in the sport of hip hop, I'm down with that. Like, we don't. I'd rather like it be like that than having beef in the streets, you know, like where you like are shooting and like that, and getting yourself in trouble with the law. But my problem is though, my only issue with it is, what is the point in dissing somebody on a song if you don't got no real beef with them? If you really want to be in the sport of hip hop, why don't you guys just get together and do a freestyle battle, or maybe like hop on a verses. A versus the perfect platform to do that. Y'all can just trade songs back and forth. Who got the better catalog, and call it at that. That's where I think verses is actually good for. Like, I mean, like some people don't really fuck with verses anymore, which I get it. They do be having some lame verses now. They just be putting anybody on there that don't really need to be on there, or people don't really care about. 50 Cent himself is not really a fan of it. Like when Ti called him out for a verses and he avoided it, and he said that verses was pointless because verses was best in the pandemic, and he don't think that's really worth it anymore because like that was best for like, oh, you had no crowd and you can do that. I actually disagree. I think verses are actually still good for this purpose right here I'm talking about. Yeah, the sport of hip hop, but you know, so that's why I think verses is good for that. But when you go on to a track and you diss somebody, it's just kind of lame though. Like if you really got beef with them, that's different. But you just doing it for the sport of hip hop. Like, what's the point in doing that? I don't get that. You know, and when it comes to like me personally, if I'm not really interested in seeing these two dudes battle if they don't got no real beef with them, within each other. If I want to see a freestyle battle, I'll check that out. Yeah, but if I'm just seeing both of y'all just getting on a track, I mean, like one of y'all getting on the track and dissing the other, and then he responding back and forth, it's just like, come on. I mean, I'm a '90s kid. I grew up in a time where if you really diss somebody, you actually had real beef with them. You know, you and somebody diss you, you got to bring your A game and fire back. And the person who just got responded back to, they better come with their own ammunition to fire back to. And they really got to bring it and really like go for the juggler. Start really like taking some low blows. You know. I mean, no rules in hip hop. You can go for the juggler. I mean, as long as you ain't really talking about their kids and all that. I mean, I'm not really down on none of that stuff. Why are you taking so many paper towels? Is that you over here doing that?
No, I freeze the
Oh,
wood bowl.
okay, okay, okay. I'll get to that, girl.
Okay.
Okay. Um, so like, that's my only thing about that, But but I mean, that's like seeing Eminem and 50 Cent saying, "Oh, the sport of hip hop," and they diss each other. You see how weird that would feel? That's what I mean by that. Now I understand Kendrick and Joey Badass are not like that. Like they cool, but they ain't like super tight like 50 and Eminem is. You know, but still though they cool though. I'm just not interested in that, man. I'm just not. Like I want to see an actual like real beef as long as it don't go to the streets. I mean, although I ain't gonna lie, the street stuff does get a little entertaining at times. I mean, I hate to say it like that, but it does. But um, but that's my whole thing with that though. Is I just don't understand why doing it though. So like Joey Badass, if you really want Kendrick to respond, if you really want to prove that you really think that you are really that dude, and you really want to prove your worth against Kendrick, then bro, just call him to do a freestyle battle, like, or do a verses. Now, now verses though, Joey Baz getting smoked though. Joey Baz ain't got that many hits like Kendrick. You know, I mean, it probably would be wise for him to do that because Kendrick would smoke him. But that's really what you want to do though. Or like I said, if you don't want to do that, do a freestyle battle, and that's really it. Going to the booth though and dissing is just lame in my opinion. If you cool with them, then be cool with them. You ain't got to diss, because then I mean I'm just questioning your authenticity right there. Cause like me personally, if I was a rapper and I'm getting dissed on by somebody I thought was cool with me, I'm gonna really take that to heart. That's just how I would look at it. If I was a hip hop artist, if I was a rapper, I would be feeling that. What's up, everybody that's tuning in here? Ahmed, Sturdy, Seth Clear, Weezer, Elliot Rebs. Person with the middle finger emoji. Uh, like, but I don't, that's just how I look at it. Um, but yeah, like back in the day, hip hop had a lot more authenticity to it. Like when somebody actually got dissed, it really was for real. Back in the day, you go from the '90s, early 2000s, mid 2000s hip hop. There was always like if somebody got dissed, it was really for real. Like they really had some problems. I mean, there are some times where people, I mean, there are some times when when rappers diss, where they just be doing it just to get their album, talking about, and they actually cool with each other. I don't really like that shit either, too. Like, y'all don't got to do beef just to get people talking about your album. If you got to do that, then you probably really ain't. I don't want to say not good, but maybe you ain't really bringing no fire music right now at the moment, and you just doing this just to do publicity. I mean, I respect your grind, but you ain't got to do that really though. If to get people talking about your album, if you're really that damn good, and you really are on top of your game right now. That's just how I look at it. But what's up, Divine, Dylan, Paco, Paco? Not sure if I'm saying your name correctly. What's up, Gemma, Matson? Yes, sorry about the ones that I'm actually missing their names. There's a lot of y'all tuning in here. I didn't expect to see that many people tuning in. But yeah, but that's just how I look at it though. It's just corny for real, man. Like And that's what I hate about today's hip hop though is if two people are dissing each other, you gotta really check and see if they really for real, like if they really got beef. I mean, most of the time, I mean, I'll say this though, most of the time it is real beef, but you still have times though where it just be saying, oh, doing it for the sport of hip hop. Like, or I'm just, or I'm just trying to get attention. Like, that's another thing I didn't like about Hobson. I love Hobson. He's one of my favorite rappers. But Hobson does that shit sometimes too. Like, he had that song, Sag My Pants. That song, he dissed literally like 4 or 5 rappers on there. He dissed Wayne. He dissed Rick Ross. He dissed Lupe Fiasco. Like, he dissed quite a bit of people. I feel like I'm missing a couple. Yeah, he dissed Drake too. Yeah, he dissed Drake. But after they asked him, oh, he did Soldier Boy on it too. And they asked him about his disses in that song, and he said that he's just trying to be funny. I'm like, come on, bro, just say you really don't like the motherfucker. The only one that he really was real about was Wayne, was Lil Wayne. He said that Lil Wayne sucks. Like, he was trolling, saying like, oh, he's go hard, he goes hard, and he said he sucked. So like, he really didn't like Wayne. But everybody else though, he kind of like just he kind of played around a little too much. So I would rather he just would have came out and said, oh, I don't like this motherfucker, yo, like I feel like he makes whack music or something like that. Like, come on. But I wish rappers would just be like not scared to say you don't like the motherfucker. That's another thing I don't like too, is they too scared to say they don't like someone sometimes. Like, they just try to be buddy buddy with everybody. Not everybody in hip hop has to be super buddy with everybody. That's what makes hip hop. I mean, I like all types of genres. I love hip hop. I like rock music. I like country. I like soul R&B. I like pop music. I like all that shit. But hip hop is my favorite genre because it's the most competitive. It's always been my favorite because of how competitive it is. Like, you don't see that in other genres where they gonna get on a song. Like, you'll see two country singers dissing each other or something. That'd be funny as heck. Like, you got somebody on a country song talking about, like, oh, I go to open road and I shot up Kenny Chestnut's house. Like, come on, that's funny as hell. Corny. That'd be corny as hell. But hip hop, got that, and that's where I just can't stand. Where like some artists can't be authentic. Really can't stand that stuff. But like, shoot, I hope sometime in the future hip hop it gets back to what it should be. You know, I ain't gonna say all of it is whack. There is still good artists out there. You just gotta look for them underground, and there's a few mainstream artists that I still I rock with too. Kendrick, Eminem, obviously. Although I do think Eminem's still one of my favorite rappers. But his last album, The Death of Slim Shady, when I first listened to that album, I didn't like it at first. Then the second time I listened to it, I was like, okay, the album's okay. I think it's a decent album. It's just not one of his best projects, not especially out of his latest ones that he's put out for the past couple albums. Out of his latest albums, I messed with Kamikaze and Music Be Murdered By, like, heavy. I'll talk about Eminem in another video. Shoot. Yeah, definitely get y'all follow and like my channel, because I'm going to talk about that in the next video. I might do that video either later on today or tomorrow, and I'll talk about my favorite Eminem albums, what I ranked, and the ones that I didn't like or that I liked least. I'll talk about that, and talk about a whole bunch of stuff. Eminem conversation. Shoot. I'm a huge Eminem fan. So, like, I know a lot of y'all on here gotta be Eminem fans too. So I know that'll be a good conversation. I want y'all to engage with me in the comment section too with that too when I talk about that. So definitely you gotta follow my TikTok channel, and stay tuned for that video. It'll be up either later on today or tomorrow. I'm gonna talk about it. That's gonna be a hell of a video. I'm gonna wrap this up right now, though. I ain't got much else to add to this conversation right now. Yeah, yeah, I mean, y'all could also engage with me too right here. Yeah, we would have talked about. I would definitely respond. I do read comments. You know, I do read comments. So yeah, follow my TikTok channel. That's gonna be the next video I'm gonna do. Is talking about Eminem's best and worst albums. Now, I ain't gonna really give my too much of my opinion on here though about Eminem because like, you gotta watch that just to see that. But I will catch you guys later, and peace. Thank you all for tuning into the video. All right, catch y'all later.